Good morning or good afternoon, Bible school teachers. I kind of want to share one of my lesson as an example of what you can do for your class. We talked a while back and I had you guys to create a classroom. And this is just one example. I have several. Uh, I'm going to briefly share and run through how I got this lesson. First of all, we know to acknowledge God and He give you ideas of what to do. So when we were starting the brand new year, 2025, I found this little Happy New Year just to kind of get their attention. I always put on the bulletin board what we're going to be learning about that night. And I like to find my little gift things to kind of get their attention because I work with the younger children. So build your classroom, even if you're teaching older students, make your classroom like they have to use their imagination. We're on Zoom and you could easily lose people attention, especially when they have these cameras off. You really can't see what they're doing. But if you keep them engaged, and I always tell the students, turn on your camera. I do not like teaching people that I can't see. Okay, so this is my routine. I like to have songs. Children love songs. So God is so good. He always leads me to whatever song I need to tie in with the lesson. So as you can see, my title was A New Year, A New Me. So here's a song that goes along. Song. I always look at how long it is because I time what I'm going to do. So I'll just escape out of here and I'll just go right here to the objective. So my next thing, always introduce your expectations. What do you expect the students to know at the end of the lesson? Now, I always ask students to read because I need to hear their voice more than they need to hear mine. And then we go to and talk about where the Bible story is going to come from. I check in on who has a Bible, and they know to have highlighters, which I got to really get back on my students because we like to highlight the memory verse. So we'll do the lesson. I'll actually find it. Uh, I'm not going to sit up and read through the scriptures, but I'm going to find the entire story or whatever the lesson is for the night. So you can see we were talking about the conversion of Saul as God changed him to Paul. So we'll turn on the television. I'll say we're going to turn on the television to see what's going on. Scriptures that we're talking about. So I'm going to escape here. So the next thing we would do in our class, we would talk about the memory verse. And this is where I want the students to highlight the memory verse so they can be able to go back to it. So here you see I have the memory verse, which we would call the key verse, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Again, I will have the students to share that verse. And you can even have ask them, what does this verse mean? And have a conversation. And I love to end on some type of game. I had everybody to make an account on Blooket. Uh, Hopefully you guys did. And if not, you can do that because my students love, even the little children, because Max, we started playing this when he was like kindergarten. So he's really good at it. And kids get so excited. We use this in regular school also. So I'm going to escape again so I can show you the last thing after the game. We always have a closure. I say it's time for closure. This is why I ask questions, help them to regurgitate back to me the things they have learned, and whatever revelation knowledge, anything they want to share. So I ask who's gonna review when we go back out with everybody else. We talk about the title, the memory verse. They read it to me, and then I have them to share a takeaway. So most of them we don't have that many students, so everyone will have an opportunity to talk. And if you have lots of students, I love the wheel of names, and I can show you guys that, where you put the student's name up and they never know who's going to be called on. And then we end the lesson. By that time, guess what? The class is over. And then once you're done with these lessons, you are to put them in our resource place so we can go back. Or when you get new students, you might want to grab the same lesson as the Lord lead. Any questions, we will talk about that in class, and that's just one example.